There it is. Haha. Welcome back. Daddy's back, bitches. This is the option. This is episode 5. And with me, I have the former AVP and FIVB standout. I have multiple time NORCECA champion, former UCLA and Long Beach State star. Quite the resume. You've been doing it so long you forgot. Alli, McColloch, what's good?
No.
Not a whole lot. So
no, there's actually a lot going on, but happy to be here. Thanks.
that's cool. So before we start talking about everything and all kind of crazy stuff, let's talk about the easiest part. Let's talk about volleyball. You're finished your first season or second season at Davis?
We finished our first season, going into our second season coming in September. Start girls report in September, so pretty excited.
Now, I said they all look like a bunch of little Allies. Then they because they all smile, they all play like you. They get a block, and then they like clap their hands twice, smack each other vibes. So, I guess the question is, am I the first one to say that, or do people see like your personality in a lot of your kids, or is that what you look for when you're recruiting, just temperament-wise?
I think it's more what I look for, probably the culture we're trying to build, and it comes out in the girls. We practice, we spend a lot of time together, so I'm trying to teach them kind of what I know, and as far as their energy goes, I try and always encourage them to, be passionate about the game and love what they do. So celebrate that. You do good things, and even when you mess up, you still want to celebrate with your teammate and move on to the next ball.
Cool, man. Okay. Do you miss playing?
Gosh, I think that's the question I get the most. Yes, I always miss playing, but I found kind of a new passion and I love it. I can't say I regret not playing anymore, but I definitely, I get the itch every once in a while. I've been down in Hermosa, for the last, 2-3 weeks. And every time someone asks me to come into practice or step in, I'm like, yes, I'll be there because I just love it. It's fun.
Yeah, because to me, it was always one of those things. If I was like, is Ella like stepping away from the game, or is she done? Like there's some people that need to take a step away and like hit the reset button because things happen off the court that they just need to step back and take care of. Like you, for example, you're in the simplest forms, and it's not, but but in the simplest forms, you had a kid, right? You had
Right.
Scout,
Yeah.
and you're trying to bring Scout up, and you and Kevin trying to do the right thing. You got Jeff, he's not going to play in Hermosa, and maybe he's trying to heal physically. He's got some ailments or whatever. You have Cassie House. We just found out she moved back to Colorado. So I mean, and I had a private conversation with her earlier that at some point I could share with her permission, or maybe she comes back on the show and talks about it. So when you stepped away, I was like, is she gonna play again, or is she not? So
I had a few people ask me about Hermosa since I was down here, and Kevin and I even sat down and we questioned it. We're like, is it worth it? Coming out and not being 100% because I haven't been training, and that's one thing I don't love to do is I don't like coming out and competing and knowing that I can be in there at the top, but not physically be able to do it. So like the things that I want my body to do and it doesn't do, I think that's more frustrating. And
yeah, he's shaking his head, Jeff,
like,
man.
he knows.
Jeff,
Yeah.
let's get him. Jeff, jump in on this a little bit. I got Jeff here to like look up funny stuff on the internet for me, but there he is.
I am here.
Yeah, so Jeff, you share a sentiment. Sometimes it's nagging injuries, sometimes trying to get your mind right, trying to do stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's just not worth it to beat yourself up more over like stuff that you know you can do, but your body's not letting you do that. So it's not only like a mental thing, it'll beat you down. I mean, physical thing, it'll beat you down mentally too, because you know that like, I should be doing this and my body's used to doing that, but it's not doing it right now. And you're wondering like why you can't, but you don't even need to like, if you have to think about that and you're not like going into it with the right state of mind, then you might as well just, play for fun or focus on whatever you're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, a lot of that stress also comes into play, like on the college scene and the high school club scene. And I guess I'd like to start with the high school club scene because since it's become an NCAA sport, the club sizes have tripled. So And then the first you get the relaxed parents out there, you get kids that are bouncing indoor and out there. Then the kids make an executive decision to just play exclusively on the beach. And then sooner or later, since it's an investment, and some of these indoor moms who are like rabid and like a bunch of dads who are like, I don't know. I describe them as 90s gangster rappers. You know, they always walk around with a swag, angry, mean, mugging people and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, dude, relax. You know, you've won. And so, and I knew that crowd of people were going to follow. And because of the AAUs that got bigger, the tournament's bigger, BCVA or JVA, Jeff and I were coaching out there, we're coaching our juniors, and there was like this huge hectic situation with actually someone from our group about how they play volleyball, and the parents are upset and questioning how like our strategy and this and that, and it upsets me because they're not asking because they're trying to understand. Some of this in this particular case, they were kind of asking questions that already call for conclusion, you know. And that's one of those things I'm like, whew, glad Jeff had it. You know, glad you know that was on Jeff's back. You know, but Jerome was there and Pompilo was there, and it's one of those things where this emotional investment comes from a high level of care, which I always respect. But at the same time, there has to be some decorum and trust in the programs and the coaches you have.
Yeah, and I think, as you know, like being a parent's tough, and I didn't quite understand. And I coached club for years, indoors, beach, a long time. So I got to really see, you know, reactions from different parents, and definitely, you know, we come across parents that I like to say we need to teach them as well, not just the kids. We need to teach them how to parent athletes, and not necessarily teach them, you know, how to raise their children, but when you're dealing with an athlete and they're in a club or a system or whatever sport, you know, they're playing, it's a different thing to learn. I think parents have to learn the same thing, just like coaches learn how to coach. Parents have to kind of learn how to parent an athlete, because it is different than just parenting a regular kid. I think that especially if you're in the high level, like elite clubs, and you know you're trying to help your child get what they want, as far as whether it's a scholarship, they want to play in college, they want to play after college, or they have goals. And you know, we know as parents, we just want to give our kids everything, and we want them to be happy. So sometimes when as a parent we see that our kids are struggling or they're not happy, we want to step in and save them, just like you know. And unfortunately, we have to let them learn that failing is okay. You know, it's okay to fail, it's okay to make a mistake. But at the same time, we also have to learn trust in coaches. So you have to put trust in the coaches that you hire. And hey, if you don't trust them, then maybe you should remove them from that program and put them in a different program that somebody you trust, and let them do the job that they've been doing. I think that's the hardest thing as a parent, especially, I know Kevin and I talked about all the time, hey, when Scout, our daughter, decides she wants to play a sport, or maybe not, I don't know, are we going to be able to step aside and just let, you know, another coach her in a sport and not, you know, trying to interfere? And I honestly, I want to say just who I am. Yes, I will. Like, I will let that happen. But I do know that if I have a child in a situation that I'm uncomfortable with, that I would maybe handle it differently than what I do see some parents doing out in public. You know, it's not the time, it's not the place to handle things that way. Is that what you're kind of talking about? Like,
I think actually I wasn't, but on a general level, that, you're right. Just looking back, like that's how it's supposed to be handled. I think. Listen, I understand when it comes to some clubs, there are a challenge for coaches where they have to understand parents too, because I think sometimes about depending on a club, I'd rather have a parent who knows their child than a coach who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Some kids suffer from anxiety. It's got to be brought to the attention of the coach. Someone has nervous energy, or they're worried about playing time or playing with someone. This is dialogue or whatever. I can speak for my club. I can speak for maybe one other club that if the parent knows you're putting in the work. And when I say work, I don't mean glorified babysitter. I don't mean just showing up and being like, yeah, to serve over there. No, I'm talking about knowing our kids, having lesson plans to go with repetitions, because club is about repetitions. And me living in a video room like a hermit, taping every game, scoreboarding, doing not crazy stats. First ball side, that's not a crazy stat. That's a real thing.
It's a good stat.
Hitting percentage after error. So,
Mhm.
you know, stuff that you will not, you just don't, you know, I mean, even my, like, come on, even my own coaches are like, okay, that's a little much. But if something that shouldn't be questioned is the work that's being put in and the strategies, whatever. It should be questioned, but that question more often than not should be rhetorical. And I think our challenge as coaches is that don't want to sound stereotypical or lump everything into one category.
Right.
But every parent thinks that their kids better than they are.
I think I'm already looking
yeah, I
at
said
it.
it. They do. No, I mean every parent. It's a blanket, but that's the only way I know how to say it.
I agree in the
Not every
fact that
parent, but
I mean I think Scout's amazing at anything she does, and you know that's she probably isn't, you know, but it's funny that feeling that you have that your child is the best at everything. It's hard to take a step back and take a realistic view of some kids, you know, and especially if it's your own. And I can't really say that's wrong, but I definitely, it helps when you have guidance from people like, you know, ourselves, coaches, to help. I always think there should be more parent, like I said, parent like classes for student athletes. And
yeah, because the coaches certainly got them. We have to.
Yeah.
I mean, God, we don't even get to coach without it, right?
Right.
So
yeah, they have all these coaches clinics, great clinics. I know the AVCA does a lot of stuff that we go to, and I don't know how much is out there for parents, especially. I know there's a lot for kids, right? We have tons of clinics for kids, but I think it would be great to have something for parents to really either teach them, you know, the game, or kind of make it easier, or help them understand from a different perspective than just a parent perspective, maybe a coach's perspective, and really understand how to help grow the athletes and really what the ultimate goal is.
I mean, it took me a while. I mean, just moving from New York, where, you know, there has to be a stricter code because the demographic of kids. I'm teaching volleyball too. Like if I'm at City College, and I got 3 basketball transits from Harlem and this and that, you know, how they brought up and the way their parents talk to them or whatever, and this and that. And then you go to California where you got kids cursing out their mom in front of everybody. And that, dude, that's something I had to get used to. I'm like, wow. And I had one girl from my club, like Serena's older sister. She's like, if I talk to my mom like that, she'd drop kick me. It's hilarious. So,
yeah, that wouldn't have happened with my mom. No way.
Yeah. It's all right. So good. Now we're staring a funnier, more interesting direction. Tell you a story, right? I'm at Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
Just left that conversation that Jeff had to have with volleyball parents. And then with Duran, then with Papilo. So I'm just taking a break from everybody because I don't want to, because actually what happened between that or whatever that happened to me, no one knew about it. I only talked to 1 or 2 people, and I'm not going to talk about it here. But bottom line, I need to just step away because I'm like, all right, this is one of them things where they get a pass and I'm going to give them 24 hours, and then then they're going to get dealt with.
The cool down period.
Yeah. So then I go to Starbucks, right? And I run into a volleyball parent, and she's like, oh yeah, it was, my daughter had this, and she was so close. And then her son, teenager, maybe 15, maybe 16 years old, was like, Mom, is the coffee here? Is the coffee here? And she's like, honey, it's right over there. That's not all of it. That's not, she's like, then it's over there, honey. So he gets it, and he's like, I can't carry all this by myself. So we're talking, grown folks are talking, right? And I can't, Mom, can we go? I can't carry this all by myself. So finally I said, hey, listen, why don't you just take half? Take half. She's got the other half, okay? Well, everybody's good. This ain't divorce. This is marriage. Let's go. So the kid's like, oh, you're funny. So I just go, okay. And I let it go, right? And then he gets 15 feet away. Yeah, that was funny, right? And I just look at him and I just leave it alone. He leaves. And then he comes back. Yo, you're a funny guy. And I just said, dude. And the mom's like, please, please, please. I said, dude, I'm laughing on the inside. And he's like, what'd you say? I said, I'm laughing on the inside. I said, I know you're putting on a show because all these people are watching, but you don't want this, man. Just get the hell out. Just get the. He had to be 15. I said, just get the hell out, man. I know you're putting on the show because you have to feel like you're standing up for yourself, and you did that. Now just go, please.
Yeah, regardless of the situation.
I told the kid, get the hell out, and then he leaves, and the mother goes, oh shit, thank you so much. And I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. You know, I'm not trying to get him. No, he needed that. And it was just one of those things where I'm just glad it worked out all right. And there's a story that I could even tell Kelly, because Kelly always, because she knows my temperament, she always takes the other person's side because, you know, because she knows in my mind, I always think people are messing with me. Even now, Jeff looking at me, I'm like, you looking at me? So fuck you laughing at, man. So sometimes I have that, but because I'm mindful of that, I took every measure, and I even ignored the kid a bunch of times. And then I just look. There's nothing like telling a kid who thinks he's entitled that of what he's thinking. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, there's people watching, and you want to be hard, and I get that, you know. And
it's
then,
definitely a different breed nowadays. Kids can kind of say whatever they want to their parents and parents' friends and all sorts of stuff, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and I interrupted, if I would interrupt my mom talking to,
and we didn't even talk about that part, right? We didn't even talk about interrupting grown folks.
It would be like I would get talked to, like it would. I mean, like it wouldn't be crazy, but like she'd let me know that that's not okay. And now you can just kind of say whatever you want and cuss your parents out, and I'll just be like, I'm like backing up, waiting for the kid to get like a shoe thrown at him. Well,
this kid's a triple fucking loser, okay? This kid's a triple fucking loser because as a general blanket, right? And I didn't even point that out yet. Interrupting grown folks. Grown folks are talking, right? 2, disrespecting his mom. You know. 3, trying to act hard with someone he's never met. You know, maybe that's okay.
He'll go somewhere one day.
I said, my words were, why you gotta act hard with all these people watching? You know, you're not about that life. Those are if I have to paraphrase exactly what I said, why you gotta act hard in front of these people? I said, you're not about that life. Just get the hell out.
It's sad though, because you would rather, if it were me, I'd rather my kid learn now from me rather than like be somewhere where I'm not there to save him. When, like, somebody who's not as nice as you, just having a bad day, that just like mauls this kid because that's he's about that life or whatever. But I don't know. I'd rather my kid know now, not to do that so someone else doesn't hurt him.
And I guess you're sandwiched by 2 people that speak from experience. Like he's not about that life. I'm not about that life. But where I grew up, we kind of know who is and who isn't.
Yeah.
Not him.
Well, I mean, for me, I always like to dissect that, and probably I always sometimes I feel bad for the kids because you never know what's going on in the background, and maybe he doesn't have somebody at home that's teaching him that, which is sad. And that's probably, very unfortunate, and something Kevin and I talk about. Again, I go back to Kevin and I because we always are discussing like how we're going to raise our kids. And it's funny, we had a long conversation with John Mayer at one of the SOB trips because his daughter Mila, right?
She came to the trip. She came.
Oh my gosh, she is the cutest thing ever. She was like 2, I want to say like 2 or 1
in 2015.
Yeah. She was young. She was only like 2 in full sentences. Like, she was very, very, very polite, well behaved. And so Kevin and I are like, hey John, what are you doing? Like this is the best kid I've ever seen. Like she's amazing. But I think that he gave us some books, and we, learning like delayed gratification and things like that, and which is something we don't have a lot with social media. And we even talking about it at the college level. Is that we're always stuck in our phones and our Instagrams and Facebooks and everything, and we have our we're always wanting things now. And that comes to the same thing when we talk to people. We don't know how to interact as well sometimes. And I mean, when I say I say the younger generation a lot. It's hard to find kids that really, if I see a kid put down their phone and actually have conversations with adults and their friends, I'm like, oh, I want that kid. That kid's awesome. Like she knows, or he.
How do they divide the culture from your generation?
Yes. Yeah. It's hard.
My girlfriend, the love of my life, Kelly, invited me. She had an alumni party. She's a graduate of 2000 at Harvard, and we went there like 2015 or something like that, 15-year reunion. Put us up, half dorms, half house or whatever, and this and that. And we go to 3 specific parties, many of them, but in this 5-day period, there are 3 specific parties. Just they're all whatever, senators and this and that, finance people. And it's the one time, and I remember it because it happened. Nobody had their phone out. Nobody checked the time. Nobody checked their text. And I'm like, Oh shit, 1985. I said, I know you guys graduated
We're back.
2000, but it's not actually 2000. Is it actually, did I jump into 2000? So it's weird because that's that age demographic where, I mean, adults know better, right? We stare at our
Yeah.
phones all the time before we
I
go to
catch
bed.
myself doing it all the time. It's definitely, I put a timer on my phone. It tells me, and then I can still even ignore it too, like you can set that timer on your social networking on your phone
And still keep going.
Yeah. I wish it wouldn't let me do that because I'm like, oh wait, I really wanted to watch this.
I was trying to find videos of.
You're trying to pull up a video of kids.
on a
Do
little
these
blue
kids need
leash.
leashes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that. Like,
Yeah.
when do you decide to put the leash on the kid? Like, what is he? Like,
Oh, no.
How bad is he to where you have to have the blue leash?
Well, the sad part is this is only hooked up for picture and not sound.
Oh, okay.
On the video switcher, I have a function that enables to do both. So next podcast around, we just pull it up. I just don't want YouTube to take us down if I put this up on YouTube. The picture, they give us a pass.
Oh, yeah,
sound, they give us a pass, but not
especially if it has any music in it from like any other
That ever happened to you?
thing, they'll take it down.
That ever happened to you? You're recording a game. There's some asshole playing a song on his radio or whatever, and then YouTube's trying to claim, or some company.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's, calls it copyright infringement, and it's not. It's not illegal. It's just the computer, the program picks up.
The software picks it up.
Yep.
Now Instagram does it a lot too. So like if you're taking a video on your Instagram, like you're in the car and a song's playing, and it recognizes the song, it won't let you post it.
Oh.
Because of copyright infringement. And especially now they work with Spotify, so they're like definitely taking over that now. You can't like have somebody else's music on your Instagram.
Well, the Fair Use Act, you could find that. The Fair Use Act states that it's not copyright infringement if it's used for criticism, like media purposes. You use news clips for that. Just example for the news. If it's incidental capture, which Jeff is the hardest thing to prove, because when you write an appeal, a human being doesn't look at the appeal. Sometimes the computer does, and it's like, well, we heard your argument, and they decided your argument was invalid. Unlike the other people who own the music decided that. And I'm like, oh, so you just take that. Oh, so it's the two of y'all, right? You just take it. I'm guilty until proven innocent here. Is that how this shit's supposed to work? So, that I don't know if that's ever happened to you, if you're like recording or whatever.
I'm just laughing right now because if any of my girls were to see this, they're gonna know that I just don't post that much on Instagram or Facebook. I'm so bad at it. I had people be like, "Hey, where did you go?"
You're female John Mayer.
I sadly I just don't do it. I look at information and news and stuff on it, but I had people ask me about Scout, so I started posting about Scout a lot more. Or maybe I'll comment on a few things or here and there and try and stay up with everything just so I know what's going on with my girls and stuff.
They gave me a nice quote for John Mayer. John Mayer, when he retired in December.
Oh, yeah? He
retired on my show. So what happened was after the show, I put together like this 2-minute clip. It's a beautiful day in the background, of course. They took monetary rights, but they didn't block it. And they just want that penny of those 2 cents every time it's played. Now, and half the time I'm building my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the 3 cents, okay? There's no video on mine that's gonna blow up anywhere. I'm supposed to make a lot of money unless it's what, like who?
Oh.
Go ahead and say who.
No, I'm just laughing.
What, Fallon Moana, right? She got 327,000 hits.
I'm still jealous.
This group of volleyball fans and ass worshippers have all gotten together, and we're just like, "You's a Jew. How you be shining when you move? It look like balloons behind you." So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, maybe I should have monetized that video. Oh, here's your money. I'm like, cool. Maybe I'll go to the movies by myself. So you're one of the people that gave me a quote. And that was really cool. I was trying to get quotes with every partner John played with. It's Casey. He played with Casey in Europe a little bit. Matt Proser. It came out of the blue. Nice quote. Every partner he played with gave me a quote, except for Jeff Nygaard. And I think at the time I'm like, good for you, because his team was like losing and he's probably busy. So, yeah. Oh yeah, this is option, baby. Ain't nobody exempt. No, good year this year for the USC, right? 15-9. They were 11-0 at home, which helps. Won some very important games. Lost to Pepperdine in the MPSF finals, which was good enough to get them invited to the dance, which I didn't love. I thought they should have. I thought the Big West should have had 3 teams. It was between Irvine, Hawaii, and Long Beach State. They were deserving. So USC deserved to go. First round, get their head chopped off by Division II Lewis University. Lost 3-1. So
That's real life.
Yep, that's real life. Well, I don't know. It's 6 seasons right now. That's 15-9 is the only winning season I saw. A couple of years ago, we had a 15-15 season, and I'm like, how does somebody? Maybe it sounds like I'm calling them out, but come on, let's be real here. Let's ask some questions here, right? I mean, there are people who are more deserving that don't get that many chances. That 1 or 2 seasons they're gone. How does someone that only has 1 winning season in like a 6-year period at a school that's supposed to be the hotbed for recruiting keep a fucking job? I mean, y'all get to answer that. I'm the one to put myself out there. So, I mean, it's one of the things where, I don't want to come up to Alli, oh, you're talking smack about me. No, I'm not. Ain't nobody talking smack. I'm asking.
No comment.
Yeah. I'm asking a legit question, Yeah. Actually, maybe I'm asking a question that calls for conclusion. Maybe it's rhetorical. I don't know, whatever.
I don't think anyone can answer that question. I think that the different schools have different,
Yep,
it's true.
Same thing with Columbia.
Rules and procedures for that. Like I don't know. I know maybe the school backs him, and I don't know. He's definitely not tenured yet. So.
What's a tenured coach even? What does that even mean? Yeah, Jeff, look up tenured coach.
Teaching. I don't know how to spell that.
Don't you spell that? He's playing.
She goes
No, I honestly, this is year 1 for me in the collegiate world, so I wouldn't even.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I know I have a lot of support from UC Davis, and I'm happy about that. But I've seen definitely coaches come and go really fast for not having winning seasons, and I've always wondered why. And then that's the opposite question: why, our coach is going for so long without,
But I mean, on every level, even a professional level, you see George Call has a 53-win season. Nuggets fired.
Yeah.
The former coach of the Raptors before this guy took over, he was voted coach of the year. He's voted coach of the year and he got fired. So I'm like, okay. So it's there's probably I don't know if winning's the common denominator. Maybe it's just about someone who's easy to get along with.
Just like everything else.
Like Columbia, their head coach is there for like 9 or 12 years, and I don't even think you guys even knew Columbia had a women's indoor team. So whatever, that happens. It's a carousel, and
I haven't followed indoors as much
Yeah.
since I moved to the beach side. I try and stay out of indoors. It's not as fun and entertaining.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
It's boring.
Yeah,
dude, they're so upset right now that they're coming to the beach, bringing us angry nonsense. I'm like, yeah, well, come on, we were fine. We minded up. We stayed on our side, right, Jeff? We stayed on our side of the fence. I was looking for fan questions. One girl, Delilah, she said, "Parents need muzzles, not information."
That's true.
Who's on Instagram? Anyone? Message you?
That's a funny comment.
You have your phone?
Oh, I didn't go live. I was supposed to go live. I didn't do it. But yours is.
Okay, cool.
I can't see yours.
You can if you're a friend. You just check on my live or whatever.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, Alli's got a lot of fans on Instagram, even though she doesn't. Cool.
Back when I was posting when I was playing, I posted a lot.
Yeah.
But then I just stopped.
Cool. Yeah, you were. You lived on it. I mean, shitload of likes. Of course, you have huge support from SOB, right? You only need to be an SOB once. Sorry, but go ahead.
The thing about Instagram and social media and this whole thing for a lot of the athletes, and I do support those that are doing it and they love it, because if they love doing it, awesome, keep doing it. I like following and watching. But for me, I was working. I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school. I was training. I was doing a lot of stuff on top of trying to be a professional athlete because I had to support my career.
Right.
And then a lot of times what I was doing for Instagram was mainly to try and get sponsors.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of athletes do it. It's for sponsorships. We're now in a different age where, you're not getting paid by sponsors as much anymore. to just be an athlete and hey, like we support you.
Mm.
It's more like you got to post 100 times on
And that's a
Instagram
shame
for
because
me
unlike
before I'm going to sponsor you, or you have to have 2,500 whatever
Yeah.
followers. And that's just the truth that a lot of fans don't know about the beach volleyball world. I think it's growing, and I love the fact that it's growing, and I want to see it continue to grow and continue to see you know, the sport get to a level where athletes don't have to do that, and they can legitimately do it because they enjoy it. But that's just unfortunately not where it's at right now. And that's why I was on it so much is for sponsorship stuff. And when I stopped playing, I was like, well, I don't need to do that anymore. I can just, you know, enjoy. If I want to go on Instagram or Facebook, I'm doing it because I want to follow my friends and family and, you know, some players. I love following some of the athletes still. Emily Stockman, one of them. She's one of my
one half of two jacked girls. That's what I call them.
Tell you what,
every time I see my screen, two jacked girls, and they know who it is because I'm the only one doing it. And, you know.
Yeah, she works so hard, and I love like
congrats to her, huh?
Yeah, that big shout out to both Kelly and Emily. You know, I just know how much they both work. They work really hard coming from the ground up. They both, you know, jobs and everything, and I think it's really fun to see that kind of player come up from the bottom, and she's worked her ass off. I just kudos to her, and I love seeing her grow, and I want to see her continue to, you know, do it. She's doing it. I love it.
Seattle is a good win for her.
Oh my gosh, I was like,
if I remember, was that Seattle, Jay? Jeff? It was Kelly and
yeah, it was Seattle. It was Seattle. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, there's something to be said about someone putting in the work and then, God willing, just a flash of having meritocracy come into play. Just being judged on the merits of what you do and what you're doing and how it applies to whatever. She's uber marketable. She's smart. She's fan friendly. She's pretty. She's and by the way, she's got a cave troll blocking at the net. You know, Kelly Larson.
She's one of the best
one of them girls.
Tour.
No,
she is.
I said cave troll like she's ugly. No, she's pretty. but definitely someone you have to pay money to cross a bridge. Okay, so yep. Oh my God, I'm very, very happy for her. I mean, that's good for her. Some good things happen to good people. You know.
No, I love seeing that. It's awesome.
It's gonna be you too. Good things gonna happen to you too.
Oh, they already are. They already are. Different forms, but you know they're great. I got the job at UC Davis. I'm loving life. I've got my little girl. She's gonna be 2 in October. Kevin, who is so much fun every day in life. He's just a bundle of energy, and he works really hard too. He's got his own club, Moxie Beach in Davis as well. So we're doing really well, just in a different form. So.
You know, once someone came up to me once and said, when I had Braxton, name is Jessica, not Sakura, not McGuire, some other Jessica, said, you know, you're still Jason and Kelly, you just have a kid.
Right.
And they said that, and me and Kelly looked at each other. I was like, that's true. And then I said, you know what? And you did a post on Facebook because it's a couple of years ago or whatever, and I was like, Alli and Kevin's going to be the same thing. I said, when they have a kid, you watch, they're still going to be Alli and Kevin, except they just have a kid. And Kevin's still the same person I remember. You're still the same person I remember. And that's cool, man.
Oh, yeah, a lot less sleep, but definitely.
Yeah.
We love it. We haven't changed.
I'm just glad I got to know you because when I was at SOB, I only did it once. Kelly and I only did it once. The last 2 people we actually got to meet and like talk to was you. I got you a couple of days, and I got Kevin on the ride to the airport.
Oh no!
Showing his arms. He's like, "Yep, God fucked me. Check it out." You know,
his
T-Rex my T-Rex arm. God screwed me. Here, look, I'll show you. And then you see this small arm just whip.
Yeah.
On a volleyball. Listen, from a volleyball perspective, that wrist away, whether he's right side or just left side or whatever, if you don't find a way to slow that down or stop that, there's not enough twitch reaction in the world. You just don't want to get blown.
That's true. It's heavy.
Yeah, right?
It's real heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, that's too bad. I wish I could have got to know him better. And then I moved here. And Kevin's like, hey, you know, come play 6-man, you know, whatever, for Moonlight. It was Stafford Slick. It was Areza.
Oh, you guys had a good
Matt and Derek Olsen. Yeah, they were good until they went to Shellbacks. Well, for anyone listening and doesn't know about Manhattan Sixes and doesn't know about Shellbacks,
where it goes down.
Yeah, a little education, if you will. Okay, we it's side out to 15. dominant team. Slick is hitting right side. We got good middles. Kevin played middle. Guys from Team Wave, a whole bunch of setters running the 6-2. We win easy fashion. So we have 2 matches off. So they want to
That's
go to
not good for
shellbacks. And
six
so
men.
picture 2 matches. That's best 2 out of 3 or just 2 sets to side out 15. So that's like 3 hours of drinking. And then we came back and we lost 15-0 the first set against another team. And they're just, some people were just like smiling about it, like, oh, is this real? And some people, they get competitive and pissed off and whatever, but this and that.
Are you pulling up
And
6-man pictures?
And
There's
yeah,
shellbacks.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
How is that not a fire hazard?
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder how they don't get shut down.
Shh, what do you say, fire hazard?
I know. Well, I mean, I'm sure like that's
Whoa,
not,
when was this?
people that is like way back.
Yeah.
Look
It
at that
is
shit.
strong.
You zoomed in. It's like a zombie apocalypse, dude. You ain't got to zoom in. That's actually pretty good.
My gosh.
There it is.
There's
Nice.
shellbacks.
They're
Yeah.
shellbacks. I
Fun
think
place,
for a
good
dive, they're
memories.
actually they got a pretty good kitchen.
No, that's where I usually get my lunch for 6-man.
Okay.
I love 6-man. I've been a 6-man 11 years, mainly because I get to see all my buddies from college. It's such a good time. It's really fun. I actually like that it's a little smaller now. It's not as inappropriate for
Younger
the
people.
youth.
Yeah. Who, by the way, are going to be there in the finals because they're sober, right? Those are the ones that you're like, it's not fair. And, that is not fair. That person's sober. I shouldn't, they had an unfair advantage.
6
Look
man.
at
Just
that.
sad.
Almost
Dude,
upon
it's
us.
Fucking
Oh,
crazy.
wow, it's coming up fast too.
It is.
Wow, I forgot. You could hardly get to your court. It was like you had to like you
Yeah.
need whistles and you need to push people to get to your court on time.
I've never been able to experience this 6-man.
Oh.
The one I play now is fun, but it definitely has not looked like that since I've been playing volleyball.
It was fun then, but it got out of hand. It got out of hand. Now I like it a lot better.
Oh, there they are.
I guess that's just being from a mom perspective now again too.
Yep.
If I see a 15-year-old out there, I'm like, hey, go
Yeah.
home.
Do you want a beer? No, I'm kidding. Go sit down. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna do something that's gonna allow you to talk about volleyball, but I gotta squeeze a story out of you. So let's talk about one of the more interesting places you've traveled, and you're gonna tell me.
Oh gosh, more interesting places. Let's see.
You said, did you go to Cuba? You had the story you told me about Cuba before.
No, I was supposed to go to Cuba. I was supposed to go to Cuba in the NORCECA when Kelly and I played together.
Okay.
Kelly Reeves. We qualified for a couple of NORCECAs. That's also it was overlapped with the Manhattan Beach Open, which was Kelly's first Manhattan Beach Open. That was I think that was her first year on tour. Was with me, I want to say.
Wow.
So we made the decision to play Manhattan Beach instead of Cuba. So
that was 2016.
that was 2000.
I remember. I was there. Oh my God, you poor thing. I'm not gonna blow you up. I'm not telling you a story like that.
No, it's okay.
No.
It's all right. It's it's definitely heartbroken. I wanted to go to Cuba, but we made the decision to play Manhattan. We played Manhattan, and that was that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, actually, it wasn't. That wasn't just that. That was one of those things where, oh my God, where Kelly was grief stricken. She didn't particularly want to lose. You were very, very emotionally heightened. You didn't want to lose, and I only remember because you were staying at our house.
Oh yeah,
Remember, serves me correctly. You were staying at my house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Kevin comes upstairs. Jason, can you come downstairs and give Alli a hug, please? It's just, and I'm like, yes. First of all, she's a hug person, but I don't know if I want to be taking her energy from her. She's recouping, So
that was a rough one for both of us. It really was. I know that was a big deal for Kelly. She really wanted to play in the Manhattan Beach Open, and we didn't have a great showing there. And that's like we go back to the emotional side of volleyball. If you want to talk volleyball for a second, partnerships are really hard on the beach. They're extremely hard, and you go through those ups and downs with your partners. And our goal was to try and come together as a partnership in Manhattan Beach. But I think we made too big of a deal of it, and so it put a lot of pressure on both of us,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially Kelly, because that's like, you know, when you have dreams and goals, and that was one of the things. She was much younger than I was at the time, and
Yep.
and for me, I'd already been there, I'd already done that, and I was looking at the international side of it, and that's a communication error on both of us. That, you know, I have no problem admitting that. Like, we both didn't communicate well with what we wanted. I wanted to do FIVB and really go in the USA direction. And, you know, it was her first year. She wanted to solidify herself on the AVP tour.
Right.
I mean, and for me, I was like, hey, we got fifth. I feel like that's a pretty good.
Yeah, and you got fifth at Huntington too. So I mean, you guys,
out, yeah.
It was just a huge. I call it a misnomer because it was one of those things where you guys were building up and better versions of yourself individually, and collectively were putting it together. So, yes, I was a little sad for you. I was actually the only beach tournament I played. I played in Manhattan Open.
Yeah.
I remember
Kevin,
Rafu. They took seventh. They got knocked in the losers bracket and won 5 straight matches or something, you know, and eventually lost to Stafford Slick and Todd Rogers.
Yeah, that was a long
Todd's
time.
last match before he retired. So
I remember watching
a lot of interesting things, yeah. But Jeff, I think probably shares your sentiment a little bit, where sometimes you go to a tournament here or there, and you have really high expectations on like what you want to do. You're not doing it while you're playing. You're just playing because playing is your goal. And then the expectation is you win. So, you know, if you're playing to win, you're probably going to just lose anyway. So that's an actor thing turning into volleyball. But I think one of Jeff's big challenges, and I sound like I'm thinking for him, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think I know him well enough. I think sometimes just dumbing down the moment, you know, between him and his partner, or just his partner, or in some instances it was just him, where don't take the moment and make it bigger than it is. It's just another game of volleyball, you know? Yeah. Just like what he said.
Yeah, that's so true though. That really is true. We kind of get sucked into that, like, and again, professional athletes, there's money on the line for a lot of those games. You know, the difference between $1,000 is a big deal for us. And
Rafa was gonna quit.
You know what?
Rafa, I mean, when he was with Kevin, he's like, I can't keep spending money to travel.
Like,
I'm you know, I can't keep paying to play. And then right on cue had just enough points, and they made Manhattan Beach, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Every time. You're like, oh, I'm in the main draw. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Yeah. We're back.
Anytime someone hits me up, they're like, hey, I think we'll be in the main draw. I'm like,
oh,
maybe.
You're
I could do it. I could go make like
jinx.
$300-400. Got it.
You're a jinx. You're a jinx. Matt Chope says hi. Speaking of SOB. Jim McNamee. And all you guys watching, you have any questions for Alli that are I won't say, they don't have to be appropriate. They just have to, you know, ask like a mammal. All right, ask a question consistent with something that walks on 2 legs and drinks water. All right? She's she's all right.
Yeah.
So most interesting place you travel for volleyball?
Oh gosh. So I don't. Well, there's interesting and there's like just amazing. So Switzerland was.
I want to hear the most interesting story. Like, it doesn't even have the craziest place. But
I was actually trying to steer her that direction.
Well,
I was trying
to hear like we got stranded, and we spent the day in a tent or something. I don't know.
That would have been funny. I do have a funny one. Like when Kendra Van Sweden and I played in China. This is earlier on. We played in China. I think we were in Fuzhou. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. But. So we didn't know it was going to be cold, right? And so you have Kendra who is like, oh gosh, I don't want to, 5'5", 5'6". Sorry, Kendra, if you're taller. And then me, like I've got long arms. And of course, on the FIVB tour, they make you match. You have to match. And if you're going to wear long like pants and long sleeves, you can't have different like logos on them either. So here we are in China being like, we need pants and we need long sleeves because we're cold.
You don't have anything your size.
Don't have anything in our size. Oh my gosh, we walked around for 3 hours and we went to a mall. Like we went to a mall and thought, okay, for sure we'll find something at the mall, right? Everywhere we went, we would ask them, and like Kendra and I are trying, we don't speak the language.
Exactly, yeah.
And so we're trying to sign language, you know, long sleeve and stuff, and people are just like laughing at us. Eventually we finally found like a Nike store of some kind and we were able to like put something together, but it was definitely a rough time, but also really, really fun. That same exact trip, though, the next day we were trying to get to the courts, and it's like really overpopulated, right? So everyone knows this. Traffic is horrendous. Like people are running into each other on their little scooters. And our taxi driver, we're telling him, hey, we need to get to the courts. Like, is there a faster way around all this traffic?
Yeah.
He straight up pulls onto the sidewalk where people are walking and starts honking at them and driving on the sidewalk.
That's what we need around here.
Yeah, man.
I need when I'm late to the airport, I need that guy.
And I thought we were gonna run into trees. I thought we were gonna run into people. You know, people with like strollers, babies. Like, and he's just honking on the sidewalk, and we're on like a heavy like trafficked highway and people walking.
It's my kind of
guy.
guy.
We're gonna get pulled over. Yeah.
I like him.
Kendra and I were in the back
stars.
just terrified.
You're just like, holy.
Yeah.
We're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's
not
like
moving slow either. He wasn't moving slow.
This is just our city mentality, Jeff. I mean, it's like, yo, he's honking for a reason. Honking means the fuck out the way.
He'd have the best Uber rating around.
My favorite bumper sticker is, if you don't like the way I drive, get off the sidewalk. That's a cool story.
Yeah,
oh my god.
That was one that we always laugh when I see Kendra, because I started my career mostly with I think Tracy Weimer was one of my first teammates. And
she's back.
And she's back. I just talked to her the other day. I picked her up for 6-man actually. She's now on our 6-man team. Don't try and steal her, anyone out there.
Nope. No, she should just do an auction. Start the bid at 271. A nice odd number to make people think we did analytics on that shit. Start the bid 271. Do I hear 273? Yeah. Yep. Greg Faulkner, if you're out there, you should definitely auction yourself, because they will pay to. Some of them clubs, or some of those teams, they will pay to win.
Teams will pay. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Sometimes we're always looking for like a stud outside hitter or middle or something. You need hitters, especially when people get stuck in shellbacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Need extra hitters.
Yes, exactly.
Hitters.
So that's the funniest story I got. I'm sure. Gosh, I've had so many fun experiences, lots of different trips. Costa Rica was really fun, nothing crazy, but Switzerland was the most beautiful. I played with Emily in Switzerland. We did not make it past the
quota.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. For all
that don't mean you're going home. I mean,
you have to go all the way to Switzerland and play one game, and you're out against your own team.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's comes with volleyball, right? That comes with you betting on yourself.
It does. It's part of the. I don't know. Like that's part of the system. I wouldn't say volleyball. I don't think the system should be like that. I'm a little bit.
Don't you think tennis is like that?
Right?
They're changing it now. Don't they do them here now?
Yeah. It depends on the time between tournaments or something like that.
I mean, the U.S. Open has a qualifier. I mean, they have hundreds of teams, so people don't think they have to qualify. You know, but
I don't mind qualifiers. But wait,
it's country quota and then qualifiers. Yeah,
but you also get paid even if you play in the qualifier, right, at the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
true.
You still get a hefty check.
Yeah, listen, we get it. Serena's check gonna be bigger than Phil's.
I mean, no,
we're gonna be bigger than Phil's at the end.
Do we know what is that?
If you play, I'm pretty sure you're getting paid. I looked it up recently.
It's like golf, right?
Yeah. It's definitely.
It's a good amount of money, but granted, they're spending a lot of money too, and like U.S. Open, like if they're going to play that and you're there for weeks at a time, like the hotels for you and staff and all that stuff, it's got to be pretty crazy. So.
That's true. Like I said, I think they're trying to grow it. They're trying to make those changes, but it takes sponsorships. It takes a lot of money. And I think they're moving in the right direction, which is good to see. And the youth, oh my gosh, the youth right now is just killing it. Like dude, what are the numbers on last year for the BVCA? How many teams there were to this year? Do we know?
I would suggest there are about 20 to 22% more players, teams, or whatever.
I mean,
it's an NCAA sport, so we all know all the club sizes are triple because now it's a business, right?
Yeah. I know there's like 500 and some teams.
I'm actually honored that Jeff and I, with the one group, that we have 22 girls, and we stay that way because we have 4 girls on each net, so smaller groups, more personal attention is our emphasis, which is why I'm like, I'm always defensive when parents question the way we do things. I'm like, dude, you are getting everything except a lap dance from Rob McLean, So, hey, we're gonna get out of here in a minute. Oh, do that. Do that. So click on that. Look at
Trying
that.
to get like some video or.
Damn, that's a girl. I didn't want to listen. You saw that? She was like a case of the ass. You know, like the pre-meetings, and some of them are like,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they're looking, but they're not really listening.
it's like, if you hear me, please say yes, yes.
To go over the hand setting, the
Yep.
rules.
Yeah.
Well, because they have to ref their own games. Most
Oh,
of
no
them.
doubt.
Except for the four.
Oh,
Well, they
that's-
did. They have some refs now, so
Yep.
that's.
No doubt.
I like seeing that. I like seeing the refs kind of help. You know, it's part of growing and teaching the game, which is fun to see.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. So listen, before we go, let's do a little flash thing. Best, most athletic partner you ever played with.
Oh my gosh, that's tough.
Who's the first one that came to your mind? We're not casting any aspersions.
Emily.
There you go.
Yeah, she is. I mean,
Cool.
yeah, she's the most athletic.
The partner that you laughed with the most. She's like, I laugh with every partner. What are you talking about?
I do laugh a lot. Gosh, I laugh a lot with Kendra. Gina's probably like though at the top as well. Like we laugh so much in practice, and Gina by far was probably one of my favorite partners as just like a genuine, like, she's got such a big heart and she's a great person.
It's Gina Urango for everybody who
yeah, I just love playing with her. She makes it's so much fun. Like practices, games, you know, even when you're doing bad, she's always there to support, and that was probably the best thing ever.
My next question was, and you might laugh at this, who's the partner that you're glad you played with instead of having to play against?
Oh,
that was Gina, right?
yes. Yeah.
You guys took third in Chicago, like I think the last time you were at Chicago, right?
Yeah, we got third in Chicago, and then I went and had a baby, and so I didn't come back as.
Well, Gina has that effect, right? It makes people want to go have babies, right? I guess
that changes things.
And Gina Urango, if you're out there, wherever you are fine as hell. You make put the camera on me. You make someone want to go get a job with benefits. So had to say that.
Smokes.
The most intense partner, the person who was always serious-minded and serious about the game, serious about whatever. Family portrait looks like this.
Kelly.
Yeah. Kelly Reeves.
Kelly Reeves, very serious, passionate about the game. So she's a competitor.
But I feel like off the court, she's a character.
Right. Yeah. She definitely off the court.
Funny.
She's funny. She was also on our 6-man team last year too. You got all the good ones in one.
It really is.
Can't wait till 6-man. Now that we've talked about it.
I'm excited.
All right, so last question before we go. You're going on your third year right now, Davis, or second?
Second year.
Use a lot of indoor and outdoor, a mixture of people to build, or you were able to recruit
First year we use a lot of indoor, and then we will start moving towards beach only players. We'll look at like the indoor side is just, you know, if players are already seasoned maybe on the beach, or they're coming in as indoor/beach players, but
like LMU did, right?
Right.
Sponsor was set,
right, like
indoor setter, I think.
Yeah,
for LMU, indoor, and then played that first year, then transferred to UCLA.
Oh yeah, did you? Oh,
yep.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, like if they're stud athletes and they can play beach and both, why? I mean, they can help you. Why not? And plus they're playing, like she's playing over the summer, you know. I think that's the hardest thing. You just don't have your indoor athletes as much to train. So if you're taking in an indoor athlete raw and trying to teach them beach, you only have about like 3 months max, you know. And then they go back to indoors and you're like, wait, come back. Yeah, we just started.
But at least physically they're prepared, because there's nothing in the world like having an indoor player like muscle manipulate beach and then come back indoor or whatever, and then do that. Because I think the best training for the beach is definitely training off and then back on. Because if you train only on the beach, if you slog your legs through the sand, you're only training your legs to slog through the sand. This is why indoor players who spend the summer on the beach, they come back and they jump higher. But beach players
Yeah.
don't go to indoor and jump higher. Their
No.
jump is the same. It's different
Beach helps
training,
the
longer
indoor.
approach. It's, you know, the technique.
But indoor doesn't really
you know,
help the
pivot.
beach.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
pivot foot, the pivot foot
Right.
technique, longer approach. So they were able to use that, you know, better or whatever. So
I have to
it
agree
does
with
mess with
Jeff
your
on
offense a
that.
little bit, but defense, blocking and digging, I always came back the most aggressive blocker and one of the better, you know, twitch react diggers.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff on that. It doesn't help me as much getting them back from indoors, just because they haven't been in the sand, you
Yeah.
know. And then
Yeah.
also like
Wind.
they might wind, sand, like the sun, all those elements. But then also they're
Dehydrating
they're a little
faster,
bit
right?
beat up from the indoor season.
Yeah.
The indoor season's long. They're on the hard floor. They're you get kids that come.
Yahtzee and balls all
Yeah,
day.
arms are just like
I
falling off.
mean, and the indoor, I think they just have to do a better way to train. I mean, besides some of the coaches that have the kids, they train like overtrain here, just too much of this. Maybe they read some book, or maybe they follow the my least favorite line: study show. You know,
Study
whatever
show.
kind of thing. They don't. I mean, they don't actually look at the study. They just study show. Okay, good enough for me. We're doing that, right? You know, Jeff and Jeff, he feels like I'm repeating the same thing all over again, but I fucking hate that.
What?
Studies
Oh.
show, and people don't read the study. I'm like, okay, so studies show that that you know, hand setting fast release or slow release and this and all. Okay, who did the study? Okay, this guy did the study. Was it outdoor? No, it was indoor. All right, cool. So
Which
it
kids
was
was the
Division
study
One
on?
Division One program. No, it's D2. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So they probably had a lot of kids, right? 18. Oh no, 9. All
Was
right.
it
So they
kids
did
from
a
the
study
Midwest?
so
Was
they
it
did a
kids
study
from-
for like a month and a half. No, it was 2 weeks, and I'm just like, so studies show. Yeah, so damn. Should we end that? Should we end on that? No, I want to end on a smile. There it is. Where is it? Come on, show me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Alli McColloch, and I really wish you're gonna have a good time next year. You really, really are. You're 1 year to rebuild, 1 year to compete,
Yeah.
one year to win.
Come
So
out and support us. We'll be down in Long Beach this year.
they're a bunch of little Allies, and they're awesome, magnificent elite athletes. So looking forward to that.
They're amazing girls. They're great girls. They're
Mhm.
awesome, good culture kids, and they're fun to watch. So
All right, perfect. All right. Hey, for Alli McColloch and for my bodyguard, my brother from another mother, Jeff Samuels. Jeff Samuels, I am Jason DeBillius. Love y'all. See you soon. Tune in Friday.
Say bye.
Friday,
Say
I
bye,
got
Alli.
bye.
trying to get a referee,
Wave.
referee Dave Carson. You got questions for referee Dave Carson about double hits and what's a throw and what's this and that?
I have
I
questions.
got him on
About
my
that.
whatever. So
I
you
wanna
guys
talk about red
message
cards.
away.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just
Damn, I gotta go. Bye. Bye.
joking.
All right. And